The whole reason I started Echo to begin with was because I wanted to be a writer, and I got this idea in my head that Echo would make me fabulously wealthy, and I could just sit back in my apartment, knocking out novels. Life would be well. That didn't happen. Well, in this book, I try to really give an accurate picture of what goes on in a virtual community. I mean, everyone's talking about virtual community now, and it's usually, very utopian. It's going to solve all the problems of the universe, or, oh, all these interesting things are happening online that can't happen anywhere else. And my book says the exact opposite. I said, all we've done is, taken a group of people and put them in a different place. They're still the exact same people, with the exact same insanity that goes on any place else.
Joining me now, Stacy Horn, founder and president of Echo, which provides internet services in New York. This is a cartoon in the New Yorker, and it says, on the internet, nobody knows you're a dog.
Oh, I've always disagreed with that one.
Why?
Well, because I think that we have a personality that we can project through our words, so after a while you can see who's a dog or who's not.
Normally, cyberspace is a fairly anonymous online electronic world where people are known by pseudonyms or handles like Joe High or Roadkill, and they talk to each other solely through their keyboards. So it's unusual, to say the least, when hundreds leave their virtual world and meet in the real world. The hugs are to welcome home 22-year-old New Yorker Mark Abeni. No, he hasn't just graduated with honors from some advanced computer science program. Mark's just back from a year in federal prison, doing time for computer hacker-related crimes, like snooping into people's credit reports or fooling phone company computers into giving him unlimited free long-distance service. You might expect a young rock and roll cyberspace crowd, and yes, they're on hand, but so are many others.
Society may have said you did something wrong, you had to go to jail. But our feeling is, like, hey, welcome back and be a responsible member of society, and we know you are.
What he was doing was relatively harmless and actually was adding a lot of value to the world, and to come down so heavy was pretty disappointing.
I think a lot of people have turned out because they really like the guy, and I think they feel he's been done wrong, and they're happy that he's out and survived. He really doesn't seem like a hardened criminal type.
Though Mark now helps run a legitimate online computer service called Echo, as hacker Fiber Optic, the kid from Queens was king of the hackers, the best, the brains behind a teenage cyberspace gang known as Masters of Deception.
Is it sort of like a chat room?
It's not at all like a chat room.
Well, what's the difference between a chat? Because that I'm familiar with.
Chat rooms are live conversations, so whatever you're typing in, everyone is, there typing into each other. So conversations, because you can only talk as fast as you can type, the conversations pretty much are like, hi, how are you? Fine. And they're completely banal. The conversations on Echo are non-real time, which just means that these conversations are going on and on regardless of who's logged in when. So I can log in, make a comment about the media coverage of the Monica Lewinsky affair, and you can log in later tonight, read what I've written, and respond then.
And what are people saying, just out of curiosity, about the Monica
Shut
Lewinsky?
up, we don't care.
We don't care, we've had enough of that story. Okay, good. All right, well, let's talk about some of the problems, some of the mistakes that people are making online in communities like Echo. What are people doing that's wrong, perhaps?
It's not new mistakes, it's the same mistakes that they make over and over anywhere else. There's a common misconception that cyberspace is somehow different from anywhere else. And my favorite quote comes from Maya Angelou, and she was commenting on Thomas Wolfe's idea that you can never go home again. She said, you can never leave. And that's what it's like. You get on cyberspace, and you just can't help being yourself. So for instance, a lot of people get online and they think that they're going to find the man or woman of their dreams, and relationships are just going to somehow work better online. No. What happens online is you get to watch in horror as you repeat the same mistakes over and over again.
More and more diverse. I remember I teach a course at NYU, and I started teaching it in 1990, and I remember the students would get so excited that they were getting online. They couldn't wait. And then when they got there, they'd find mostly just computer scientists, and they were so disappointed. It's completely different now. I started it in 1990, and I had to run it out of my apartment because I went around trying to get investors, and nobody would believe me in 1990 that the internet was going to be hot. So I had about $20,000 in severance pay for a mobile, that's who I was working for at the time. So I started out in my apartment, and it was very, very slow the first couple of years. In 1990, there was very few people online. I literally got people on one by one. That is, essentially Echo is made up of these different places where people talk, and we call them conferences. And how people use Echo is they move from conference to conference, participating in discussions depending on what they're interested in. Then I guess around right from the start we always offered internet email, but that was it. And at the time, we didn't really stress the internet because there wasn't a lot there. So now there's a ton of places to go, so we ended up putting a high-speed, a T1 connection to the internet, and now we offer everything.
You're out on the ocean, and you get cool time.
I know that a lot of people have this image of people online as these very dark, huddled, troll-like creatures behind their computer, but actually as a result of these virtual communities, people are getting out and meeting these people. When you get online and you start talking to someone, if they're at all interesting, the most natural impulse in the world is, I want to meet them.
I've heard you described actually as the mother of...
The mother? No,
no.
forget the mother image. I like Queen of Cyberspace better.